Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about linear perspective. So linear perspective is pretty much a fancy way to say that you are going to make things look like um, perspective. My bad. Okay, so linear perspective is pretty much a way of saying that you are going to make things look like they are going off into the distance um, correctly. So that everything is in proportion. So, what you're going to need is a ruler and a pencil, preferably one with an eraser. I also have some extra erasers here too, just in case I get really messy. But what I'm going to do first is draw my line. My line can be anywhere on my paper. It can be as far up, as far down as I want, but I want to draw a horizontal line. So that's going to be called the horizon line. Once I have my horizon line in place, I'm going to pick any spot on my horizon line to make my focal point. I'm just going to pick right here. In the middle is easier. So just for the sake of keeping it simple, I'm going to pick somewhere in the middle of my horizon line. So now I can make little rays that come out everywhere from the focal point. As long as the focal point is touching somewhere on your line, that's what you're gonna need. So I'm just gonna kind of go around, do some lines at different angles. If you notice, all of my lines come back to this focal point, and that's what we're kind of looking for. And I may not need all of these lines, which is why I have my eraser ready, but this is what I'm gonna do to get ready. All right, so this is gonna be my ground, this is gonna be my sky. Okay, so I've got all of my lines drawn out. Now I'm going to make a road that goes back to this focal point. So I'm going to take the easier way of doing this and just kind of erase some of the lines so that it looks like the lines of a road. And as I get further up, I'm going to space my eraser marks out more because it's getting closer, so we can see more of the space in between the lines, right? When you're driving down the highway. Alright, so here is my road. Now if I want to, I can make a maybe a sidewalk or something that's right along my road. So what I'm gonna do is draw a line that's a little bit closer to this line right here. I'm gonna try to get it as close to it as possible. Make a line here. That's gonna be the edge of my sidewalk. So when I do the little cracks in the sidewalk, it's important that they go exactly straight up and down to get that linear perspective in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna match up my ruler to the side of the paper and slide it over so that it stays up and down, and then make a mark. And my mark is gonna touch both of these lines here. So I'm just gonna slide it over again, make a mark. Slide it over again, make a mark. Again, I'm going to get closer together. The further they get down the line, you can barely see that one, but it's there. So now I've got the cracks in my sidewalk. So to get them to go across, to make it really look like a sidewalk, I want to make sure that my lines in my sidewalk match up with my horizon line. So I'm just gonna find my horizon line with my ruler, slide it down, make a mark. Slide it down, make a mark. So pretty much all of your lines from here on out are either going to be horizontal or vertical to keep it in line with your drawing. Alright, I'm going to just erase where I kind of went over my line here. Okay, so now I've got this nice little sidewalk going on. Maybe I want some telephone wires on this side. So that's kind of the same thing. They're going to be straight up and down. They're going to look kind of, maybe I'll make them up here so that they look tall enough. So I can put my lines going up here too. So I'm just going to put my line up here. I didn't want to go through the writing so that you guys can still see that. But I'm going to put my my telephone wire lines right between these two. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the edge of my paper and make a vertical line. I want these to be pretty tall, so I'm going through both the horizon line and this line right here. And I'm just going to keep sliding it over until I get all the way down to my focal point. And I'm going to kind of stop so you guys can still see where I wrote the words. But when you guys actually draw this out, you won't have to make breaks in your lines like I do. And you can kind of see how I got them closer together the further I got towards my focal point. So now I can just kind of make it look like a power line is connecting. It's a little bit difficult because this one should have been up there. And then I'm going to take my edge of my smaller eraser and erase out this line. Alright, so here are my telephone wires, whatever you want to call them. The same thing kind of goes with trees. Here I'll make a couple of trees on this side. So I'm going to match it up with my focal point, draw a line, make my tree nice and vertical with the side of my paper. I'm just going to put a line there, and then I can make my tree however I want to make it. Maybe I want a thicker trunk right here. That's cool too. It's up to you how you want to make your tree. I'm just kind of roughing one out here quick. And there we go. That is my really rough tree. If I don't want a whole line of trees because that would look kind of unnatural, I can go ahead and erase my lines now so that it looks more realistic. I just realized that I erased my horizon line, so that was a whoopsies on my part. I'm gonna go ahead and put that one back in. Skipping over my tree. Alright, so this is my horizon line still. I just erased the two that let me know how big my tree should be. As it gets closer, my trees would have gotten smaller, right? I can decorate the top however I want. Maybe I want to put in some clouds or something. So that part is all up to you. You can decorate and color in however you feel like. This is going to be kind of a weird looking cloud, but you get the gist of what I'm saying here. Okay, so here's my cloud up in the sky. I got a tree, got some telephone wires. You could add a person walking, just make sure that it's vertical. Otherwise, you're gonna have a person walking sideways and it's gonna look all crazy. The closer you get to your focal point, the darker things are gonna be. So when you shade, make sure that you're shading it in darker. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for linear perspective. It's not as difficult as you make it out to be. I know that when I started linear perspective, I was really scared to do it just because I didn't really know how to line things up correctly. But as long as you remember that everything pretty much goes horizontally or vertically, and it's all going to match up to this focal point here, it's a piece of cake. So this is my finished linear perspective. You guys will be able to color it. Otherwise, that's all I've got for you. So I'm excited to see what you guys create.